Hey guys, we're back in the game room today, and I want to show you something a little different today. We got some multi-carts that I've gotten off eBay cheaply throughout the years. And everyone knows about emulators on the computer and whatnot, and it's a great way to play a lot of old classic games that you otherwise wouldn't be able to play if you're trying to collect the real stuff. But I've gotten two Sega ones and two Nintendo ones. And I just like them because I can play them on my original hardware. There's no graphical bugs or sound bugs that you might come across on emulators. So I'm going to show them to you today, and afterwards I will open them up and we'll check out the circuit boards that came from China and see how cheap they are. So stay tuned. Okay, the first one we're going to look at is called Best of the 80s and 90s. Or more commonly listed as 196 in 1, like Sega Genesis games on the eBays. So this one I got a few years ago, I think, and it was like $20, I think. Not too bad. And let me plug it in here, we'll check it out. So this one is actually a pretty reliable cart. You've got all the games listed here in alphabetical order, which is nice. And you got a lot of just kind of classic Genesis games on here. Not every one that you'd want to play, but you got a lot of them. And I'll just kind of scroll through here so you can see what there is. Glay Lancer, that's a good shooter. We got Golden Axe 3, that's another rare one. Gunstar Heroes, classic. You got Haunting. A lot of shooters that you wouldn't find other. Kuga, that's actually that's a different one. Let me see here actually. That I think it's a shooter with the airplanes in it. What's that called? This is the Japanese version here. Vapor Trail, that's right. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, we got some sound here. Anyways, we're not here to play Vapor Trail. We're here to just show you these things. Now, the only bad thing about this cart here is you don't have a save feature on it, unfortunately. And there are a few games on here, well, at least one in particular, that you pretty much need a save feature to play. And that is not going to happen on this cart. So keep that in mind. I'll show you right now, actually. So we got Crusader of Senti there, which is actually a very expensive game on the Genesis, and it's a role-playing game, so obviously you need to save it. And they put it in here, but there is no save function. So it's pretty much a no-go on that one. But otherwise, I've never had any problems loading the games. They all work great. I haven't run into any glitches, and Chinese did their homework on this one. Not bad. All right, now we will check out the second Genesis card. Now this is the kind of like faux Everdrive card. Here is, I don't know what the title of this thing is to look on eBay, but I just kind of looked at like the Sega Genesis multi-carts, and you kind of scroll down and you'll eventually see this one. And I think they've got a new version now, but this is like a $40 cart, so it's probably the most expensive out of the bunch here. And I'll show you why. It's because they put a ton of games on this thing. Now, this is kind of like what you'd find where you're using like an emulator, I guess. So you select your game here, and you got different directories you select your games from. So you got the Genesis ROMs, you got the Mega Drive ROMs, you got the Sega Master System ROMs, and then you got some just kind of like random ones. See, they got even like a beta of Pure Solar that they threw in here. So I don't know, it's a very random cart. They just got a ton of stuff in here that I don't even know what a lot of it does, to be honest. But you got tons of games. There was got to be at least 1,000 games on here, and you just kind of scroll through and see what you want. Now the weird thing is, between these Mega Drive and Genesis categories, sometimes they'll throw like Genesis games in the Mega Drive one, or like, you know, you're looking for a certain Genesis game and you can't find it, and you know, they'll have it listed as like something else on the Mega Drive. So it's kind of weird like that. The naming is weird. You know, just where they put everything is kind of weird. Here you can see all this Master System games they threw in here. And some of these don't work, you know, like, see, we got 2 Chuck Rock 2s here. We got Europe and Brazil. But, you know, they'll throw like a bunch of versions on here, and some of them work, some of them don't. You know, it's kind of a crapshoot in that respect. But what you do, you know, once you find a game you want to play, let's check out what do we got here? Punisher. Let's try the Punisher. So you press start, and what it does, it just kind of erases the memory that is on the cart right now, and then after a moment it'll reload the game onto the chip memory or whatnot, and that's how you start the game finally. And if you keep doing this over and over, like you're just checking out a bunch of games, it'll eventually just stop loading. Like this bar will just stop sometimes. Oh, so we got some kind of a problem here with region locks, I guess. And there's some way to get around these, I think, but you gotta look into it more. Let's just find an easy one here. Let's see what we'll do. We'll just do Outrun. Hopefully this one works. Anyways, as I was saying, for some reason it'll just stop loading games if you keep doing this over. I don't know if it's getting too hot and it just stops working or what's going on, but usually if you just kind of turn it off and leave it and then come back later, the card will start working again. So, I mean, it's not completely unreliable, it's just kind of weird the way it functions. But, you know, once you get the games going, it works just like the originals. And, you know, that's what's nice about having the original hardware. You can just play the games as they're meant to be played. You know, if I'm playing this on some kind of emulator on my computer, you know, it's not going to look this way probably. It's not going to sound this way. But, you know, this is how it's supposed to be played. Anyways, see, if you hit reset, you'll still have Outrun on there. And, you know, even if I just turn it off, turn it back on, you get this menu all the time. And if you select game, you'll go back to the menus. But if you just want to play your game, it just loads the last game that you already had on there. So, pretty easy to work with once you get the hang of it. All right, that's the 2 Genesis games. Now let's look at some Nintendo. Now this one I showed you on a video probably like a year ago or so, and this one's called 405 Forever Games of NES. And this one I'm not going to go over too much because I already showed you guys in another video. If you want to go look at that, you can check it out. But I just want to kind of explain it really quick. Let's see, we got to change videos here. Oh, where is it now? It's video 2. Where are you? Where are you? You're not working? Well, this is embarrassing. I can't even figure out what I was doing here. There we are, video 3, okay. Yeah, I use these boxes down here, they're kind of confusing if you don't remember where everything is. So yeah, we got this one, and this one's got 405 games, and it's got a lot of classic NES titles on it. And the only thing that I'll say about this is it does have a save feature, which is really nice, and this is the only cart that I've ever seen for NES that does that. Unfortunately, it only saves one game at a time, and this game this cart does have a lot of role-playing games on it, which is nice. But you can only play one at a time, otherwise your save file will get overwritten by the next game you play, and then you're kind of screwed. So, yeah, overall though, this cart's... actually, when I ordered it, the first one they sent me was just broken. It wouldn't work. The graphics were all corrupted. So I had to return it, and I got a different one. Luckily, I got it from a US seller. You know, if you guys get these Chinese knockoff multi-carts, you always want to get them from a US seller so you can return it if you need to. Because, I mean, maybe you can return things to China, but I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah. Great cart. Just remember, don't save your games over each other. Okay, now we got the last one here. This one I just got a couple months ago, actually. This is a 121 Super Nintendo cart. So, this one, even though it only has 120 games on it, it's actually probably the nicest functioning cart out of all of them, I'd say. And I'll show you why once I get this thing plugged in. This one is video 4, I think. There we go. So yes, we got pretty simple menus, as you can see, but you know, at least they're in alphabetical order here, and you can kind of go through and just check out what you want. They put a lot of good games on here too. You know, there are some kind of duds, as happens on all systems, but I think they just chose a lot of games, and there's kind of some interesting ones on here too. See these Zelda games down here? These games were the ones that came out for that weird kind of online thing they were doing for like a little bit a long time ago. I think maybe only in Japan or Europe or something. But they're called the Zelda Broadcast System games, I believe. So they're like different versions of Zelda Link to the Past, which you've also got on here. But you can see you got a lot of role-playing games, which is nice. And you've got, you know, some rare ones. You got Earthbound, you got Final Fantasies, you got Chrono Trigger. And what is cool is you can save, but you can save all of them at once. You know, you can have multiple save files on the same cart. So, see, we got Chrono Trigger all loaded up here, and should be music. There we go. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Just loaded my game like that, no problem. And I've tested this a while. It's actually pretty reliable. I haven't had any glitches, haven't had any problems. And the save files never disappear. They're always there. And I think I've got about 3 or 4 different save files going. So this is the cart I probably recommend getting most out of all of them. And it is only about 25 bucks, maybe 30 or so, you know, something like that. It's not very expensive. And you can just play it on your old Super Nintendo. Pretty cool. All right, let's go open them up and I'll show you what's inside. Okay, we're going to look at the best of 80s and 90s first. 196 in one. Now, this just has 2 screws in the back, and they're just Phillips head, and I already popped them out. But these clamshells have like little tabs on them, so they're kind of hard to pull apart, actually. And I ended up breaking one of the tabs, which is not a big deal. You got screws in the center. You got little tabs here, and these make it really hard to pull the thing off. I don't think it was made to come apart again after they assembled it, but you can get it apart. And here is the little chipboard here. You can see nothing really fancy, but that's what you got. And it holds a bunch of games, and it works fine. It's actually not a bad looking quality board either. You can see, I've seen a lot worse. Oh, not bad. together wrong already. Look at that. You always got to make sure you put these together correctly again. And these tabs do not want to get back on. You really got to push them on there hard. Okay. Let's see the next one. Now this is the faux Everdrive, and it's got 4 screws in the back. Just Phillips head though, no big a deal. And there we go. You can see it's got just a SanDisk in there. And this has something to do with like resetting the, I think they're like region or something. But you can see it's also kind of not a bad looking board. Seems solid, pretty clean. And that's the battery for your save function there. Not too shabby. Now this NES one I opened up before because I just wanted to make sure that it was not broken inside like the first one I got. This has kind of an interesting setup. Now as you can see, we actually have 2 different things going on here. We got a regular board, and I believe this is for just like a normal Japanese Famicom, because you need to plug it into this adapter here. See? But I suppose on the plus side, if you ever wanted to get a Famicom game, you could use this as an adapter and take it apart and put it in there. So yeah, look at that. Ooh, hopefully I'm putting this in the right way. I kind of lost track here. Well, you know what? I'll monkey with that later. Not waste your guys' time. And here is the last one. Now this one actually, you need a special bit to take it apart. See, it's got the little Super Nintendo special screws there that it actually uses instead of a Phillips. So you gotta use these little guys here. I don't know what they're called. Here we go. Let's see what's in here. Now this is a very small board, and as you can see, there's no battery on it for the saves, so I believe it just uses some kind of memory chip somewhere. And this probably is a little newer technology than the other ones. And there it is. What's this in there? Altera Max 2. Okay. So that looks like an important chip there. I don't really know enough about chips and stuff to know what each one does, but yeah, this is probably the nicest cart out of all of them, just in terms of function, I'd say. So there we go. Oh, and we got another one. I gotta figure out how to put it back in. There we go. Alright guys, that is it. Hope you enjoyed, and if you like these things, try eBay.